Hey guys, Brian O'Brien here with another week of my culinary school behind me and completed. Very, very excited. That's 10 weeks in the books, double digits, and I keep talking about how the time has flown by, but it's been a lot of work. You know what? Last week was fantastic. On Tuesday and Wednesday I had my liberal arts classes, my hospitality and my nutrition classes. Both are fantastic classes. We're still kind of getting into the flow of them because they're really new classes still, but there's a ton of information for both classes. Hospitality, I mean, the hospitality industry is so huge. You think hospitality, a lot of people just think like hotels, but it is such a bigger industry than that, and this is all, you know, being taught to us by Chef Fry. So we're learning a ton. It's really interesting to find out the different nuances and the different sectors of the hospitality industry. So really, really cool class. Nutrition taught by Professor Santa Delmonico. She is a fabulous teacher, and I am extremely interested in the subject. A few years ago I lost a bunch of weight, and when I did that I actually had to teach myself nutrition. So a lot of this is not new information to me, but it's more in depth and I'm starting to understand it a little bit more. So it's really, really cool, and I'm just really excited. But you know, as I discuss in every video, the real meat of this program is my culinary fundamentals class, which is what I have in the kitchen on Thursday and Friday. This last week, week 10, we did some really, really fun things. I did mention last week that, you know, once we kind of got over the hump of the midterm and the midterm practical, it's seeming to get easier and easier and starting to get more fun, which is what it's all about. On Thursday, we actually did fresh egg pasta, which is really, really fun. I've done that before at home, just practicing. I did raviolis. This time he wanted to teach us the classical way, the classic technique of making fresh egg pasta, and you know, some of his techniques, Chef Wong's techniques, to kind of get things better, make things easier, etc., etc. So we did that. It was really, really cool. Everybody individually made their own pasta. We rolled all the pasta out, which we actually kneaded the pasta in the pasta roller, which was really cool to learn. And then we cut our own pasta for the portion that we would be serving to the chef for our tasting, and then the rest of the pasta, which we had 1 pound each and a quarter of it was tasted by the chef, and then the rest of it we used in a lasagna smackdown, we call it. Each team created their own lasagna based on what we had available in the walk-in, and we all tasted it and critiqued, and ultimately there was a winner, and the winner was actually the girls team. Theirs was the best, and so big shout out to you guys. So that was really, really fun. On Friday we got into egg cookery. Now egg cookery, while it sounds very easy, is extremely hard. In fact, eggs are one of the hardest things to cook in the kitchen because they're so temperamental, and you really need to understand how to cook eggs in different ways, the different techniques, and what's beneficial based on what egg you'd like. You know, whether you want a scrambled egg or a poached egg or a fried egg, and how do you want that fried egg? Do you want it over medium? Do you want it over hard? Hopefully not. And just the different ways of cooking. So it was really fun to see. Now, watching Chef Wong, I talk about this before, watching him give his demos is it's just incredible. The man is so talented that just the littlest of things, like on the egg cookery day, it was really kind of a breakfast cookery day. He taught us rosti potatoes, which for those of you who aren't familiar, is basically a hash brown. You go into a basic diner and you see the potatoes are kind of shredded and then fried, and it's, you know, really crispy brown, golden brown, delicious on the outside, and then the inside is nice and tender and almost creamy. To see him do that, now we did it in our own little saute pans, and he did as well. And the challenging part isn't cooking it, it's flipping it, because you gotta flip the entire thing all at once without breaking it apart and ruining it. So he flipped not only the rosti potatoes perfectly, he also, when he was doing the fried egg, flipped those perfectly as well, and you could just hear all of us students in the background like ooh, ah, when he does it, because he's so talented, he makes it look effortless. When it came time for me to actually flip my rosti potato, wasn't nearly as smooth, not gonna lie. No, I kind of saved it and figured out a way to still make it look presentable, even though I kind of butchered it. But that's all part of the learning process. Fried egg though, I nailed. For those of you who will follow me on Instagram, you guys saw that firsthand. So really fun day. Getting into next week, today's Monday, and every other Monday I have off. But this is not one of those Mondays. The Mondays that I don't have off, I have the Culinary Fundamentals Science lecture taught by Chef Wong. This morning we had that lecture. It starts at 8 a.m. and goes for an hour and a half till 9:30. So it's not as bad as waking up and getting to class by 7, but it's still early. And you know, with the time changes last weekend, getting up at 6 o'clock is exactly the same as getting up at 5 o'clock was last week. So you got to kind of plan accordingly for that. But it was really cool to talk in the science lecture today. We talked about taste and the different nuances and the different components that come with taste and the different flavors, and everyone's pretty familiar with the different flavors: sour, bitter, sweet, etc. But one thing that really stood out to me in class today is that, you know, you've seen these maps of a tongue that kind of show you where bitter is tasted most. Like the front of your tongue tastes bitter, and the middle of your tongue tastes salty, and the outside sour. I found out today that is total fabrication. So every taste bud that you have in your tongue can taste all of the different senses, whether it be salty or bitter or sweet. It doesn't matter. They all have the receptors to taste each individual flavor. So the whole mapping of the tongue, total malarkey, don't believe it. This week, today's Monday again. On Tuesday and Wednesday, I will have my kind of my life skills type classes, my nutrition and my hospitality, and then we're getting into the kitchen, where we're actually this week in the kitchen for Culinary Fundamentals. We're going to start really composing completed dishes. Up to this point, we've been giving chef to taste individual components of a dish. This week we're actually going to be contributing, we're going to be presenting a completed dish. So we're going to be doing poaching. We're going to do a poached salmon, and we're going to do some poached chicken as well. And both Thursday and Friday, when we come up for our tasting groups, not only will we, you know, our dishes won't be individual dishes like a hollandaise and a mayonnaise separately. It will be a poached salmon with a sauce, a protein, or with a starch and a veg. So that's really exciting. And we're also getting into plating. He taught us on Friday kind of his ways of perceiving a dish when plating. And so that's exciting, because that's something that I've always wanted to work on and improve upon, because there is no perfect way of teaching it. It's to each chef's kind of own personality of how they play, and they usually take different things from their childhood and their past to kind of be represented in plates like that. So oh yeah, you're probably wondering why I'm standing on a train track. This train track, I live right around the corner. The dorm is right over there, and so I get to live really close to this. Now, I don't feel too stressed out standing on this train track, because this train track is only used for the Napa wine tour. Literally, the only train that comes back and forth is people that are going on wine tours. As you can see, there's there's grapevines right next to me. I'm literally in a vineyard, which is pretty much this entire valley. So the only train that goes by here is just the wine tour, people that are eating and drinking and just checking out the sights. So it's Monday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning, so that wine train isn't too active right now. But I will say that I will be on that train one day. I haven't done it yet, but I'm a huge fan of wine, and I'd love to experience it. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. So that's it for me. Week 10 is a wrap. Week 11 is looking to be really fun. Again, my name is Brien O'Brien. I am a culinary student here at the Culinary Institute of America at Greystone. Please like, share, subscribe, forward this message to anybody. If you guys have any questions about what it takes to come to school, what it's like to be a student, please feel free to reach out. You can email me at brian@chefbrianobrien.com. You can comment, you can message me. Any way to get me a message is totally fine. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week.